Hello and welcome to another episode of the Nonsense Review. Joining me this week, as always, is the one and only Rick.
Hello.
And this week we'll be watching something brand new. It's only just come out, so there's absolutely no way we can know anything about it. But before we get on to that, you know the drills by now, guys, and if you're brand new, you'll soon learn it. Rick, how was your week, buddy?
Pretty good. So I've been watching a few anime that have been going on this season. I've caught up on a few that I've let languish. One of them is Nagatoro-san, which is about a real pushover wimpy guy who gets bullied by a younger girl.
Oh shit, I think I know what this is because Reddit goes nuts over it.
Oh yes.
Is it like a tanned girl?
Yeah, she is.
Okay.
And she's tanned because she swims.
Oh, that makes sense. I just assumed it was usual Japanese Ganguro bollocks.
Nah, quite the opposite. She's got some Gyaru friends who are a pair of assholes, but like the reason that she has a tan is because she spends a lot of time outside in the sun.
Okay, well that's a much less weird reason than I initially believed.
Yeah. You even see the tan lines on the swimsuit, which she often wears, because when she strips down to tease Senpai, she's always got the swimsuit on underneath.
I dread to ask, but I've got to ask. How old is this character?
High school age.
That makes me uncomfortable.
She's not the fan service character, it's fine.
Okay, no, I get that, but the things I've seen on Reddit lead me to believe otherwise, Rick.
Okay. The actual fan service is from how sadistic she gets with Senpai.
Well, I'm not talking about weird doujins either. As far as I'm aware, it's official fucking artwork from the manga.
Wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, that's enough out of me for one statement. How's your week been? What have you been doing?
This week's been a bit of a mixed bag, but we'll end on the sad note. We'll start on some high notes, shall we?
Yeah, absolutely.
I've been replaying Final Fantasy XII. I've had it on Steam for a while. It's the Zodiac Age version, and I don't know if I've said it specifically to you, Rick, but I've probably said it around you often enough, where the Zodiac Age version of the game fixes a lot of issues I had with the game.
Yeah, because I remember when I played the original, it was so easy to just give everyone katanas and tridents. And like, if those were your best two weapons that you had, then those were the best two weapon types that you should be using, and then give everyone every magic and then go.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Like, even in this version of the game, you can do that if you wanted to. Like, you can make everyone, I forget, it's a Dragoon, but without being a Dragoon, it's like an Ulharun or some bollocks.
Sure, a Kimari.
Yeah, because jump doesn't exist in that game, at least not for the player characters.
Sure.
So you've got that, and you've obviously got, I think it's Shikari, but it's just Samurai.
Actually, considering that 11 was online, it is literally just the next game after Kimari, so yeah, it is just a Kimari class.
Yeah. There's no true blue mage in 12, which is kind of sad.
Sure.
Well, you know, there is no, gather skills from the enemy and use it against them.
Man, I really love that gameplay style. Like, I know it can become bullshit stupid OP, but like, I really like the Pokemon factor of you go out, you find a specific skill from a guy, sometimes you have to mind control them into using it on you because they're only programmed to use it on allies. There's even a couple of those in 14 that you have to confuse an enemy before they use their enemy skill on you.
I don't think that's true. What skill are you thinking of?
No, I'm thinking of one where you got to lure another enemy into their range, damage the other enemy, and then the first enemy uses their healing skill on the allied enemy.
I don't think that's correct. I think the only two healing spells you get as a blue mage in that game are White Wind, which is from learning X amount of blue skills, and you've got Moogle Cure or some bollocks, which is King Moggle, which the entire gimmick is against a team of, classed things.
Okay, so if you've not got the one from the Vanu area, then yeah, that's the one that I'm talking about. You got to lure some dragon close to something else, and it's one of the ones that was added in the Heavensward expansion for Blue Mage, so the first expansion, the level 60 ones.
I'll be honest with you, I don't really care for Blue Mage in 14. I don't see the point in having a class that's just for goofing off. Like, I've done things with it, and I can kind of see the appeal, but it's also like, some of the skills are bollocks to get.
Yeah, it's really annoying that they didn't just... If they'd have toned it down a little bit to make it balanceable...
Oh, I'm not having this fucking conversation with you on the podcast, Rick. No. We're moving on. I've had this conversation too many times with you, and there's no winning for either of us. Let's move on.
Man. Sure.
Do you want to know something weird that occurred to me the other day? I was browsing through Cartoon Network's multiple channels channels these days, because I like cartoons. I'm not ashamed of that fact. Fuck you. Sorry, that wasn't aimed at anyone in particular. Do you know what was playing on Boomerang?
Probably Scooby-Doo, because it's always fucking playing on Boomerang.
Well, there you go. It was Scooby-Doo, but it was a Scooby-Doo movie called Scooby-Doo and Kiss. Do you know what year that film came out?
Okay, so 1989.
Yeah, guess what? 2015.
Fuck off.
How the fuck is Kiss relevant in 2015? Like, I enjoy Kiss. Kiss are fine. They're kind of fun. Well, as long as you take them in character and not out of character, because Gene Simmons is a bit of a dick.
I can see them being a bit of a meme. Like, I remember when Family Guy was new and interesting and, you know, before it got cancelled for the first time, you know, back when people liked it. Like, they used Kiss as a massive meme, and it was funny back then to rag on Kiss as something that was revered and also made fun of.
Well, there's even a throwaway joke way later on in the series when it's not quite as funny, where Lois goes, "Oh, I hear Gene's back in town," and a tongue from out of nowhere just comes through the window and then starts doing that wiggle thing, and then Lois laughs, and it's obvious what's going on, but, you know, it's such a fucking stupid out of nowhere joke that it got me. For what it's worth, Kiss still tour, by the way, but they haven't got Gene Simmons or I forget the name of the other guy. I think it's Paul Stanley. Either way, the two important members of the band have pissed off. Do you want to hear something dumb that happened to me?
What happened that was dumb?
I had a Gura moment.
Oh.
Yeah, as soon as I realised it was a Gura moment, I was just like, I'm going to have to remember this for the podcast because it was so fucking dumb and it was so embarrassed.
Did it involve failing to count?
It did. What happened is my brother was betting on the horses, as he is wont to do, and he said, "Could you pick a horse for me?" And I said, "Sure." He said, "I'm going to give you the numbers." I went, "Okay." Now, what I heard him say was 1, 2, 10. That's what I heard. What he meant was between 1 and 10. And as soon as I said 10, and then as soon as I walked away, I was just like, hang on, oh no. Oh, I've never empathised with a stupid fucking shark more in my life than I did in that moment.
Where's the rest of them? Where's 3, 4?
But, oh, Jesus Christ, I felt so stupid. It's an easy enough matter. Oh, fuck off. I'm getting email notifications. Sorry, didn't mean to sidetrack. When everything's on Do Not Disturb and you get a message ping up, part of your brain's like, is my laptop haunted?
Yep.
But yeah, speaking of Gura, I told you I wanted to talk about VTube nonsense today, Rick.
Ah.
It's time that we deleted the podcast because the time of human podcasting is over. The time for VTube podcasting has just begun. Ame and Gura started a podcast. Now, I don't know if they're going to do that more than once, or if it was a one and done type of thing, or...
Was this the one where they put their feet up?
Yes. And they called it the fish tank.
So, I think Ame had all of these feet just commissioned because she wanted them. And then Kiara one-upped them by having some animated feet made.
Oh, is that what that was about? Because I saw the screenshot of Kiara with her feet up, but I didn't realise she was trying to... I thought it was a across-the-board deal that they'd done, not Kiara trying to one-up Ame.
Here's the thing. I don't think she was trying to one-up her, but she definitely succeeded.
She can finally corner the market on foot fetishes.
Yeah, because she's got the animated feetsies. Then again, Cat Gura's got 2 sets of cat feet footprints on the feet that she has, so...
Cat Guru is a weird concept, but also incredibly cute.
Well, it's because Senzawa was a cat.
Well, I don't care about who she was until she put on the shark tail.
Unless you want to hear her sing Country Roads while drunk.
I've never heard that. I heard her sing Big Iron. She's got really good fucking pipes.
Yeah. She's not only that, she's good at country songs.
Which is really weird, because the only country singer that I know who is a woman, off the top of my head, is Dolly Parton, and she's got a very distinctive, unique voice, whereas Gura kind of doesn't, if that makes sense.
I don't want to throw it under the rug, but pretty much generic anime voice.
Yeah, but the problem is fucking Ryaboos and degenerates eat that shit up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's it's very definitely a hole in the market. Has an anime girl sung this song in the past? No. In which case, there we go. In fact, I think only a week ago, they released a collab of all 5 of the Western Hololive girls singing Country Roads.
Oh, okay. I'm a weirdo when it comes to country music, because I don't actually like Country Roads as a song.
Fair.
I think it's kind of boring.
Fair. It's just kind of like the standard country song that everyone kind of has heard of and can kind of follow along to.
I get what you're saying. It's just I don't know if I said this on the podcast, but I've definitely said it to you off the podcast. where I like my songs to have a story.
Yeah, I feel you. Totally. I was going to say, Country Roads is kind of just wistful. It's not... the story isn't there. The story is kind of happened before and after, and, like, they just want to go home.
Moving on from that sad note, do you want to hear something fucking stupid? There was a pay-per-view this weekend for WWE. Well, it would have been last weekend by the time this podcast comes out, because we're a week behind. 2 wrestlers got eaten by zombies.
Well now, and it's not even fucking Halloween.
The reason that I have been told that zombies were involved in the match is it was a cross-promotion tie-in with Batista's new film, apparently.
Okay. And not to ride the hype of Resident Evil giant vampire lady.
Oh, fuck no. I don't think Vince McMahon knows what that is.
Okay, but maybe one of his corporate goons does.
No. Oh, no. I don't want to get into the politics of how things get decided in WWE, but it's not great. That happened. A bunch of fans were pissed off because they were like, what the fuck is this bollocks? Even I was like, what the fuck is this bollocks? I like wrestling to be stupid and over the top and dumb. For fuck's sake, my favourite wrestler's The Undertaker, and that's a dumb gimmick when you look at it from, like, an untinted view. The reason why I, and a lot of people, were kind of annoyed at this caveat, as it were, is because there was no reason for it to happen. It was a regular lumberjack match, and then the guys came out, and then the ring was surrounded by zombies instead of other wrestlers. There was no explanation. It just happened. I'm all for doing stupid, dumb shit, but you gotta give a reason for it.
Speaking of dumb shit, when you said it was a pay-per-view match, I had to pass in my head that you weren't talking about some variant of a paper boy.
I don't even know how you got to that one.
I heard paper, and I was like,
Oh, yeah, okay, I get you. That used to be a mistake I used to make as a child. I think there was one time when I asked my dad, why is it called a pay-per-view? And he said, well, because you pay every time you watch it. Oh, I greatly misunderstood this conversation. That's it, more or less, for my week, but there's 2 things I want to touch on, because hasn't been all happy and great. This isn't really anything for what we've done during the week, just for those people listening, and for Rick, because I don't think Rick knew I was going to do this, but 2 people who are relatively famous have passed away this week. One of them just tomorrow, and I just think it's a nice thing to just give them a little bit of a nod. This one you're familiar with, Rick, because we more or less spoke about it most of the day yesterday. Miura, the writer, artist, designer, storyboarder for Berserk, passed away at 54.
54 is absolutely no age to go. I was just like here nodding reverently, because I know a lot of people in nerd circles have a lot of reverence for this guy. Like, he's added so much to the nerd subculture in terms of what he's inspired. Not only the thing that he's created, but the number of things that thing has inspired. It's definitely far-reaching.
I mean, shit, case in point, I've got one of the more iconic scenes from Berserk tattooed on my calf. It's just a shame that probably the thing Berserk will be remembered for the most is how long it's taken.
A double-edged sword there that, yes, it's taken so long, but it's also had that amount of longevity. Like, anything that normally lasts that long and goes on that long fizzles out in a third of the time.
I mean, many people would argue that during the boat arc, that was what happened. A lot of fans probably fell off the wagon, as it were, because I'd be honest with you, even I've got to admit the last 50 or so chapters, I might be over-exaggerating the number, haven't been the most thrilling, apart from the spoiler, big spoiler for Berserk coming up, so skip forward about half a minute if you don't want to hear it. Apart from the fact that Casca's had her memories restored, nothing's really happened.
I didn't even know that part. But
well, you don't care about Berserk.
Nah.
Anyway, I'd say let's take a minute silence, but I think that's a bit excessive. If you want to have a silence for Miura, feel free to do that now. Pause the video. Should I be making jokes here?
It's one of those where the only joke is the fact that you can just pause the video and have create your own minute silence. Like, I don't think it's disrespectful to have your own form of reverence.
Yeah, okay, that's probably the fairest way of putting it. But yeah, moving on. This one's probably more relevant to me than you, Rick, and I wouldn't be surprised if most people listening couldn't give a fucking shit. But an original ECW wrestler, one known as New Jack, also passed away earlier on this week. Yeah, he wasn't the nicest person in the world, but it's one of those weird things where when you look at his background and stuff, it doesn't justify his behaviour. Nothing can justify being a shitty person. He has mauled and hurt people for seemingly no good reason, to be honest. It at least goes a bit of the way to explaining it, and fundamentally, even though he was a bit of a fucking psychopath, he did seem sort of a good person.
Yeah, like how much of it was in character as a heel?
Oh, no, he was a piece of shit. out of the ring. That like just anyone who wants to know why I think New Jack was a bit of a piece of shit, just Google the mass transit incident, because that's probably the biggest one. But there's also cases of him not liking someone in the ring, so he just fucking hurts them, which is not what wrestlers do.
Yeah. I feel you.
But the only reason I say he wasn't an entirely shitty person is he had the stones, as it were, to speak his opinion in a room full of people who had a different opinion and probably had more clout than him. The reason I say that is I remember watching a Shoot interview, which, if you don't know what that is, it's basically an interview wrestlers do out of character, and they're...
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why it's called a Shoot interview. I could probably look it up and tell you, but that's pretty much the gist of it. He was being interviewed alongside, what's his fucking name? Elvis. Honky Tonk Man. And they asked him about the Chris Benoit incident. Now, if you don't know what that is, it's when Chris Benoit seemingly snapped, he killed his wife and his child, and then he killed himself. And yeah, that's a whole thing. Like, I'm not going to go into the motives or the reasoning. It was a fucked up thing. It's a very dark part of wrestling history. Probably the darkest part of wrestling history where I was actively a fan at the time. And during this interview, it's a question people like to throw out, and I don't particularly know why, because it's a fucked up incident that I'm sure most people don't really want to think about. But they ask, what do you think of that? As if there's any acceptable answer other than, yeah, it's fucked up, let's move on. But in that interview, Honky Tonk Man said, well, I could understand him killing the wife.
Oh boy!
This is the type of person Honky Tonk Man is, and he just said, I can understand that. Like, she probably said something, but there's no forgiving the kid. And New Jack just instantly snapped and went, no, there's no reason to... And this is New Jack saying it, the fucking psychopath, saying, no, there's no reason for him to kill his wife. There's no good justification for that. What the fuck are you talking about? And then I think Honky Tonk Man got scared for his life, because that's the type of person New Jack is, and just shut the fuck up. But, you know, it's one of those where, technically speaking, in the wrestling business, Honky Tonk Man probably had more general clout than New Jack, and New Jack still had the stones to say, no, you're fucking full of shit.
Just from that exchange and the knowledge of that exchange, it says a lot about the positive side of what could normally otherwise be described as an abrasive character.
Yeah, but like I said, if you look into the dude's history, it explains why he was the way he was, but like fundamentally he had certain morals that a lot of old school wrestlers, as you can probably tell from the Honky Tonk Man's attitude, did not have.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's move on to something a bit more positive. What are we doing this week, Rick?
We are watching M.O.D.O.K. It's a brand new series that was released today. Spoilers, we're from behind the scenes. We're actually recording this on the Friday, the day that it released. And as of last night, it wasn't even released, so it just dropped this morning.
And here's an interesting tidbit for you, Rick. If you're living in the States, you can watch it on Hulu, and you can watch the whole fucking series today.
Yep.
But we live in the UK, and we have to watch it via Disney Plus, and they're doing the Disney Plus thing of releasing one episode a week, by the looks of it.
Yep. Because they put it on Disney Star, which is... Because we don't get Hulu in the UK, we just have to get... Disney's selection of Hulu things via Disney Star.
Yeah, that being said though, Bob's Burgers is on it now, so I'm quite happy.
I remember when I first learned about Bob's Burgers and I marathoned everything that was out at the time. And that was back in like season fucking 3, so...
Oh damn.
Man, it was a while ago.
But yes, shall we crack on then, as it were?
Yeah, so I can say that I know nothing about this series other than the fact that it exists.
Well, I know that it stars M.O.D.O.K, and I know Patton Oswalt is M.O.D.O.K, so we're in for a treat, because he's a voice acting... I wouldn't say legend, but he's pretty damn good at it.
Yeah. So, for everyone watching along with us, 3, 2, 1, and go.
Alright, yeah, Star logo.
Yeah, Disney Star logo. This is the first time I've seen the Disney Star logo, actually.
I think it used to look the exact same, didn't it? Except now it's got a Disney in the corner.
Okay, so I never watched anything that was on Star that wasn't Disney.
Okay, fair enough then.
Boy crying.
Oh, wow, I wasn't expecting the environments to look like this. Oh, I think this is a throwaway art style. I don't think it's going to stay like this the entire way. Oh, maybe it will.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
I wasn't actually expecting it to look like this.
I also wasn't expecting his head to be massive when he was a kid. Yeah, it looks like they've made the whole thing in, like, at least partially stop motion.
Might explain why it took so long.
Yeah, it's basically... Yeah, basically like, Robot Chicken. Yep.
Okay, I love how the very first scene with M.O.D.O.K in, they explain what M.O.D.O.K stands for, because it is an acronym.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Oh, nice. I love how he's apparently watching... Oh, that's great.
He's just watching a fucking Bake Off, yeah.
No more than 2 episodes a day. That's a good rule of thumb if you're marathoning stuff, I suppose, but like doing a marathon and not a sprint.
His foot came off.
No, sorry, I was laughing at the fact that fucking M.O.D.O.K spoilt the end of the season for Iron Man of Bake Off. Dude, I love propaganda for evil corporations.
Yeah, we got Iron Man's boot.
So I knew Iron Man was going to be in this because yesterday when I googled it to try and find the runtime for episodes because I thought they might have been leaked or something, it said John Hamm comes in as Iron Man as a recurring character, as well as another character which might not show up, so I won't spoil it.
Fair enough. Monica is what, the scientist supreme, is she?
I don't know. I'm not skipping the intro, but you know.
I'm also not skipping the intro because it would be very difficult to sync up timing on it. Oh, also the intro was nothing.
Yeah. Unless this is the intro and it's just going to be this every week. By the way, we're not reviewing this every week, we're just reviewing the first one because it's out and it's new and it's interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, by the by, this is described as a sitcom, so don't expect too much superhero stuff, as it were.
Yep.
Why? Him just acting like a twat in the background of a YouTube video.
Yep. So she's moaning at him for being at the end of all of her videos, but like
That might be the reason why people watch.
I think it's also a self-fulfilling prophecy that she ends the video whenever he shows up.
It's true. But also, she wasn't live streaming.
I know, right?
What the fuck is this thing?
It looks like it.
A super
It's
adaptoid.
a super adaptoid. Well, apparently the super adaptoid in the most recent game is just an every hero that was created for villainy.
Right. Whoa, this kid looks like the pervert from My Hero.
He looks... Okay, yeah, he does look a bit like Mineta. I was going to say he looks a bit like Danny Sexbang.
I don't know who that is.
Okay. Tugboats?
Why is she? Because he looks like that because he experimented on himself. Does this imply that he experimented on his daughter, or what?
It's possible that... Okay, so he had a massive head when he was a kid, according to the flashback.
Yeah, but he didn't have the tiny fucking body that was non-existent.
VPN.
Well, that's quite the grotesque imagery that's conjured.
I know, right?
Oh boy, that dog looks fucked up. I think that set the tone for the general, like, when he's with his family, that's going to be general family drama, but with the fact that he's a fucked up alien bot thing. But the other part is him fucking up at his job.
Yep.
He just referenced Spooderman.
Spooderman.
But yeah, go on.
Yeah, I've seen the episode blurb, so I know part of the spoiler for the episode's content.
Oh, I also saw that. Something about him and his wife having marital issues. Which, considering he wants to spend the night in bed with Iron Man's boot, it's not too surprising.
Man, like, I never have liked the AIM grunt disguises, but you know.
And they're pretty unique.
Oh, it's definitely unique. Like, the whole idea is, like, it's just hazmat suits, but, like, they just look dumb.
But it's no different than... I'm going to bring up Robot Chicken again. It's the exact same as Robot Chicken whenever they take the piss out of Star Wars and there's 700 stormtroopers involved.
True. We're under attack. Die for me.
Who the fuck is this? I don't know what Grumble is.
I think it's,
A piss take of apple?
yeah, or Bumble or something, or...
I love how that's what he's defensive about and not the fucking suicide shit.
And also the fact that, you know, these guys are just harvesting all of his search details.
So then it's probably actually Google instead of Apple.
Yeah. Or Facebook.
Facebook isn't a search engine, no.
Well, true, but Facebook is, I think Facebook is technically, like, the fourth biggest search engine in the world.
I don't think it... I wouldn't class it as a search engine.
I know, right? But, like, YouTube is the second biggest.
Yeah, but that's still just Google.
I know, right?
That sounds like, what's his name? Fucking Bender.
Acid is expensive.
Oh my days. The wife in particular was reminding me of that newer Fireman Sam they did.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel you. Then again, Fireman Sam was always this kind of stop-motion thing to begin with.
Yeah, but I mean specifically the weird turn they went from stop motion to kind of animated, but not really. I don't know. That's not a thing.
I know, right?
Like, as far as I'm aware, 3 is the highest you can get. I've never known anyone to do that, but that's kind of a fucked up thing.
Fin Fam Farm to Table.
Oh, it's Feng Fang Foom! Oh, we're just gonna get a bunch of fucking villain cameos, are we?
So it would seem.
Oh, it's not a piss take of Apple and Google because he just name dropped them. Is this a little bit gay?
Yeah, I think he's meant to be.
No, I just meant in general. I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's because I personally don't like my personal space being invaded in that manner. I think this series is sponsored by Monster. You Yo, I love that.
He's got a little toy of himself.
More importantly, the old school original design.
Yeah, with the stuff around the eyes.
Oh, I think M.O.D.O.K's meant to be slightly autistic. Moving on. You wanted to talk about a certain M.O.D.O.K thing from the comics, didn't you?
I don't know.
Yeah, about a certain former president of the United States.
Oh yeah, there's an alternate universe of M.O.D.O.K, and it's entitled M.O.D.O.K. It's M.O.D.A.A.K, and it's sort of like mechanical organism designed as America's king. And yeah, it's Trump.
Dude, I'd be depressed if I was Trump if I saw that because of how well his face fits into that design.
I mean,
it's not flattering.
He's got a big head.
And little hands.
Yeah. The difference is the real Trump has got a massive torso, so, you know.
Oh, dude, have you seen that fucking image going around the internet of him just hanging out on his yacht?
Oh, is that the one where he's got a massive arse?
No, it's the one where he's got his top off and he looks like a gross old man, because he is.
Maybe not that particular one.
Oh no, I knew that was coming. Do you want to hear about a really fucked up story about when I was in college?
Go ahead.
I'll take your silence as a no.
I said yes.
I didn't hear anything, so I guess Discord failed us. One day while we were in charge of the ducks on the farm, all the lads, we were just sort of dicking around because we'd all done our jobs except for the guy in charge of the ducks for that day. So we're just waiting, and there was 2 pigeons stuck in the duck cage by the pond. And the shortest of us, I've forgotten his name, was being a dick, and he just kept opening and slamming shut the door. And then he did it, and he caught one of the pigeons as it was trying to get out, so it fell to the floor and was twitching horribly. That is a grotesque image. But yeah, so there's this pigeon that is clearly in distress and pain, twitching like a fuck. And me and like 2 other people were just staring at this and said, "You need to do something about this because this is fucked up." And this guy's solution was to grab a brick.
Oh boy.
And he walked over to the thing, and it was quite clear what he was intending to do. And I was just like, no, you're not doing that. No. And yeah, that's the story of why I had to break a pigeon's neck.
Well, yeah.
It was
similar bird story.
Oh dear.
A friend of mine's grandma was in the female equivalent of the Hitler Youth.
Oh, lovely.
Because everyone was who lived in Germany at that time. Like, it wasn't a choice. And her task was to take care of some turkey chicks.
Sorry, petting the rabbit is an adorable thing.
It absolutely is.
Oh,
his twins inside him still.
But yes, turkeys.
Yeah, and her task was to take care of these turkey chicks, and she looked away for like 30 seconds, and they all drowned in a puddle.
Oh dear.
And that's pretty much the end of the story. So he's had his hat disabled by
his brain disabled actually. It was a neural inhibitor.
Okay.
Even though I was listening to you, I was paying attention to the episode, sort of. Oh!
Through the rabbit.
Oh! Isn't it weird? It's one of those weird fucking things. It has a name where you can kill 700 people in a show and people won't bat an eye, but kill a fluffy, adorable animal and people lose their shit.
Yeah. It's some kind of cuteness dissonance.
No, I think it's the TV tropes thing of literally just, not the dog.
Yeah. Kick the dog. And your little dog too.
My Disney Plus is doing this weird thing where it's not actually keeping track of how much of the episode is played. According to my episode bar, we're on 0 minutes, 0 seconds out of 26.
Now I've got a different EUI. I'm at just under 17 minutes.
Okay.
What, is it eating Play-Doh?
I mean, technically it's safe to ingest.
Well, we know that from The Simpsons.
We know that from the fact that it's written on all the Play-Doh fucking pots.
Okay, but I know it from the episode of The Simpsons where Homer eats a donut made out of it.
So also, I don't think you should base your assumptions on cartoons, Rick.
I'm trying to think of a comeback.
How? That's amazing.
Oh no. Most are growies.
Oh dear.
Oh, it's got gross little hands.
Does. Yep, that's what he's going to do. Jesus Christ, that's a lot of blood. Was he just flipping her off as he floated out the room?
Yep.
Subtitles did not make that work very well, because there was no pause between Small and and the subs. So if you're deaf and rely only on the subtitles, it's probably not going to work.
Yeah, it ruined the comedy of it a little bit, but it's fine.
Oh, I'd already know what's going to happen now. Now that he's been accidentally put in him, he's obviously going to run out of time, and he's going to resize while inside him and kill him by accident. That's my prediction. Ah. How do you think M.O.D.O.K has sex?
I think he uses the hover thing to to perform a lot of the motions on his own behalf.
But I mean, he must have a mammoth cock. That's the case.
Yeah.
It's not a pleasant thing to think about, but they brought it up in the show, so we have to think about it.
It might be like Mini-Me, how it's like a tripod.
I mean, it could be. Like, it could curl up inside. I think the fact that he only has a black eye after fighting Iron Man is a testament to his skill of running away.
Yeah, it's an absolute achievement.
I hate it. I hate it so much. This is gonna ruin her book deal, which, you know.
800,000 subs.
Dude, I'd kill for that. Oh, fuck off with that shit. There's too many people who think like that nowadays. And
Yeah,
who,
yeah,
like,
but
gone.
you know, it is actually like true to a certain degree, though, which is still a pain in the arse.
No, it's not true. Like, that shit goes out the window when you're being physically attacked.
Okay.
It's my point. I get it, they're playing it up for comedic effect, but there are some people, men, I should say, there are some men who specifically think that even if you're getting physically attacked by someone with a weapon, you're not allowed to defend yourself because of what is between their legs. Oh, that is gross.
Yep. And a visual representation of why you should socially distance.
Dude, that fucking pen went straight through his wrist, finger, hand. Got there in the end.
Favorite childhood toy.
Oh, he made that up. Yep. That wasn't necessarily cruel. Again, that is M.O.D.O.K's skill, is that he can make anything out of anything in seconds.
Yep.
He'd actually make a pretty good, you know, the Tinkerer?
Yeah.
Like, he'd probably be able to make a lot of money if he just did that shit.
Yeah, because the Tinkerer isn't always a villain.
No, he just makes shit for people who pay him, and that's usually villains, because most superheroes have super level intellect and can make their own shit.
Or a contract with Stark.
Well, yeah, but that's the same deal, isn't it? You might as well be super intelligent if you have a contract with Stark.
Yeah. Well, that normally means you've got super integrity.
Oh, God, he's such a narcissist. I hate it. She is 100% justified in wanting that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, she just had her head invaded by a supervillain.
Even if that didn't happen, every single time something good has happened to her so far, M.O.D.O.K has made it about him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I call out your name during sex instead of mine.
Oh, okay. Did you just see executive producer, man?
No, what was that?
It was Seth Green.
Oh, okay.
Which explains the artistic style perfectly.
Yeah, it definitely explains why it was why they're able to use the Robot Chicken generic style. Well, not generic style. The Robot Chicken signature style.
I get you. I've tabbed out because it was on the end credits, but on the end credits it said, "Hey, do you want to watch this?" I've already forgotten what it's called. Space Apart bullshit.
Oh, Solar Opposites.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so tell a lie then. I have seen the Disney Star logo in the past, and it just completely went over my head because Solar Opposites is the only other thing I've seen on Disney Star. And when I'd watched most of it, I just so happened to see an ad for an article detailing everything that happened in Season 2 when only Season 1 is on our Disney Star.
Oh.
So Season 2 is available on Hulu.
I will never forgive the Americans.
And by Hulu standards, you know, it's all available right now.
Well, it's pretty much the only streaming service I'm currently subscribed to in Disney Plus. It's the only one that doesn't just give you everything immediately. It goes, no, we're going to drip feed you this because we need your sub money.
And, well, sometimes it works. So I think I brought it up in a separate conversation about Falcon and Winter Soldier, that if it was all available on day one, everyone would just binge it on day one. Whereas the way that it released over certain weeks, you had that amount of time to just seethe, hate, guess, and just process emotions in different ways. Like, at the beginning of the series, there was a reverence for Captain America and, like, a melancholy of what we had lost and what we weren't getting back. And by the end of the series, it was a reverence that was looking to the future, like, thankful for it having happened and also, like, accepting the change.
I kind of get where you're coming from, but at the same time, that's not how streaming services work.
Okay, it's not how other streaming services work, but the thing is, I think it was meant to have originally been a weekly TV thing, and then they went, yeah, let's make it a killer app for our streamer, and like they shifted the focus to making it for the streaming service, and then they just wanted to keep the same feel, and they've just kept that forward going with all of the things that they've released. They've kept it as a weekly thing, and kept most of it as things that just, you've got that little bit of time to process it in your head, to drum up the hype.
I'd agree with you if this was Loki, but it's not Loki, it's M.O.D.O.K, which is a sitcom, which I can guarantee you there's probably not going to... Well, I'm not going to guarantee it because I might be wrong, but I highly suspect that there is not going to be a continuous storyline constantly going through the series. I think it's going to be like early... It's not even going to be like early Simpsons, because early Simpsons even didn't do this, but like there might be a running... Like, I think the marriage thing, or the divorce they're going through, is going to be a running thing through the series, but other than that, it's not going to be a real story. It's just going to be, oh, let's have M.O.D.O.K be M.O.D.O.K because M.O.D.O.K's fucking funny.
Well, I think the marriage and the AIM takeover are going to be the two things that are the series long story. And yeah, I think it's going to be like a Netflix series where the one season has like one overarching story, and you might get individual episodes that might on their own be taken as a single slice of life episode, but it still fits into the general narrative of, yeah, it came after the one before it and before the one after it.
You said a whole lot of nothing with that sentence.
Hey, I said even less with that noise.
The noise I didn't get to hear because Discord doesn't like your noises.
Yeah, well, if I were to spell it, it would come out as FWWWWWS.
What? That's going to be a fucking delightful experience for the people listening to our podcast. Ah, what the fuck is this? Horrible noise.
Another thing I've found out about M.O.D.O.K is when I did a quick Google, and one of the things from other incarnations of M.O.D.O.K in other series is Gwenpool.
Oh, fuck off.
Thinks that M.O.D.O.K is an absolute joke.
Yeah, because he is.
Because, yeah, like, the normal estimation of M.O.D.O.K is that he's a bit of a gag character at this point. Except that when he's taken seriously, he's actually dangerous, and she finds that out the hard way.
Yeah, but it's also a Gwenpool story.
I know, right? So she's invincible, but, still.
I don't like Gwenpool for the same reason I don't like Deadpool. Like, they're okay for their little throwaway gags, and if you read just the gag bits, then yeah, that's fine. Like, when you see a meme on a page and it's just a fucking 2 pages of a Deadpool comic, that's fine. But unless you treat the character seriously, which can be done, I'll admit, it's not something you can maintain through an entire comic book.
Yeah, I feel you.
One of my favourite versions of Deadpool is X-Force Deadpool, because he's just serious enough that he's not a complete and utter joke.
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't there also that one Deadpool comic where he's like with the Punisher?
Oh, okay. There was a new Thunderbolts run which had the Red Hulk as the leader, and he was gathering people, and he had Punisher and Deadpool both on the team because it's the Thunderbolts. The gimmick is they're villains, but they're either pretending to be good or doing good for the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And the entire gag with Deadpool was he thought that Elektra fancied him. It was either Elektra or Lady Deathstrike, I forget. I think it was Lady Deathstrike, the woman with the long claws that's basically Wolverine but not.
Yeah, it's Lady Deathstrike, yeah.
Yeah, but it turns out that she was actually interested in Punisher, and they ended up sleeping together, and Deadpool found out, but they're also on a mission, so he just sort of... Deadpool's way of sulking is he just stalks the fucking compound that they're going to attack, and Punisher comes up, and he says, yo, what's the situation? And Deadpool goes off. I can't tell you verbatim what he said, but it was just like, oh, this is the situation of this, and this. And he hinted that he didn't like the fact that Punisher got with Deathstrike because he thought Deathstrike was into him. And Punisher just goes, are we going to have a problem? And he pulls out his fucking Glock and has it pushed right up to Deadpool's head. And Deadpool dead seriously just says, you might kill me first. And that's it.
Yeah. I like that, that like incredibly sinister but dark threat. And yet, when you know it's Deadpool, you know that like there's an underlying humor to it that he is coming back from it. Anything that you do to him is not going to be permanent.
No.
Still going to fucking hurt.
Yep. I mean, shit, I also, like, as much as I rag on Deadpool because he's a gag character, like, throwaway issues that don't mean anything are quite good for him. I've read Deadpool versus Gambit. That was good because they pretended to be Daredevil and Spider-Man. It was just like, why is Spider-Man fighting Daredevil in the middle of New York? Well, the answer is they're not. It's Gambit and Deadpool who want to fucking rob a museum, but they can't let people know it's them. And it also, like, the comic is just, it just evolves into both of them backstabbing each other 700 times because it's Gambit and Deadpool. Deadpool wants his money and Gambit's a thief.
Yeah.
I also read Deadpool versus Punisher, which is a very weird comic because Punisher gets the first kill on Deadpool and then Deadpool gets a kill on Frank. And this is why comics are stupid, by the way, but you gotta love them. When Deadpool kills Frank, he doesn't actually kill Frank because he shoots Frank in the exact spot where he got shot all them years ago, so his bullet just wedges into the bullet that's already, it lodged into his skull, so it doesn't kill him, it just makes him look like he's dead.
Okay. I was half expecting you to say it's like a Newton's cradle, it pushes the old bullet out.
It was bizarre, dumb, stupid, and then they both teamed up against the person who hired them both to kill the other.
That sounds like a standard let's you versus him fight comic resolution.
It's one of the reasons why I like versus comics so much, because it's just, you don't need a lot of plot, it's just who would win between this character and this character. And, oh boy, I'm going to quote Stan Lee because he's got the best take on this ever. All the arguments you have with your friend, who would win in a fight, Superman or Goku, for example, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what Stan Lee's answer to that question is?
The winner is whoever's comic book it is.
No, the winner is, who do I like more?
Well, yeah.
Because when it comes to comic books or any media franchise, the person writing the thing, who do they like more? Guess what? That's who's winning.
Basically an offshoot of what I was saying, that if it's a Spider-Man comic and it's Spider-Man versus Wolverine, then Spider-Man wins.
Well, yeah, but because I use the example of Superman versus Goku, where that bias isn't in play because, hey, guess what? That's going to be fanfic at best.
Yeah. But it's one of those. If it's depending on what media it is. If it's animated by.
No, throw that out the window. This is fan discussions. We're talking as if it's just a fan. If it's a fan creating it and it's just their thing, whoever that fan prefers more, that's who's winning, because you can always find a way to justify bullshit.
Sure. I feel you. I think Death Battle actually does a decent job of quantifying numbers the best that they can, at least.
Except I've never watched Death Battle, so I'm not going to throw shade at them in any way, shape, or form. But the problem with the premise is you can always change the scenario enough that it gives one person the advantage over the other and you can justify it. Hell, one of my least favourite tropes, because I'm a Batman fan, is the fact that one of the flaws in the Batman character is if you give Batman infinite amount of time, he can solve any problem.
Yeah.
That is his power.
Yeah. Batman plus prep time equals cheat code.
Give that motherfucker a Green Lantern ring and every single problem in the world gets solved.
Yeah. I love how the weakness of the Green Lantern ring is that you see your greatest fears and you have to overcome them, and Batman's like, oh, that's just a Tuesday for me.
Well, one of my favourite things, and I might have shared this on the Skype channel, is I don't know how recent the comic is, but the art style seems to imply that it's fairly recent, and it's Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman meeting for the first time, which is always an important moment. They're the three most recognisable and basically de facto leaders of the Justice League.
Oh, I think I know what you're going to say. Is this where they all grab the lasso?
They all grab the lasso of truth. Wonder Woman says Diana, Superman says Clark Kent, Batman says Batman, and it's always a theme in the comics that Bruce Wayne is the mask and Batman's the person, but it's always weird when it's so overt.
So the weird thing is, like, that's literally what the thing is with Clark Kent and Superman. Like, Superman is the thing that he is, and Clark is the person that he puts the mask on to be. Well, he puts airs on to become Clark Kent in daily life and to pretend to be weak. Like, yes, he is pretending, but he also was raised as that kid. So yeah, that's it's like the inverse of Batman.
Except he thinks of Superman as the persona and Clark Kent as him. Is the point?
Yeah, but by the same token, he doesn't become Superman. He always is.
Except if he's introducing himself completely honestly, because that's what the lasso does, he thinks of himself as Clark Kent first, is my point. Whereas with Batman, he doesn't think he's Bruce Wayne. His instant reaction is, I'm Batman.
Yeah. I'm Batman.
Dude, there's actually a really fucking funny and interesting little it's a throwaway page of a comic where the Joker, for some reason, has decided to go after Clark Kent at the Bugle. He doesn't know Clark Kent's Superman, because no one knows Clark Kent is Superman. And Joker's got this massive, great big piss-off fucking hammer, as Joker does, and he's swinging it full pelt at Clark Kent's head, at the back of Clark Kent's head. And time's going in slow motion, because we're in Superman's point of view, and Superman just thinks really fast, I guess. And it's going through his mind where he's like, how can I make this believable? How can I allow his hammer to hit me and have a believable enough response that it's done damage but without killing me? And I don't know how it resolves because I don't see the next page, but it's just Superman's thoughts of, this isn't going to do anything to me, but it has to look like it does something to me. But if I'm a normal person, this will kill me.
Yep. I think he bowls himself through a wall or something.
But even that should kill him.
Yeah.
Also, Joker, it's weird, isn't it? Because depending on what you're watching or reading depends greatly on what Joker's strength actually is. Because that hammer's big. He shouldn't be able to lift that hammer that easily.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same hammer that Harley uses as well. She's even less enhanced or anything.
But Harley uses it all the time.
Yeah, true enough.
Also, there's plenty of times where she fucking does a spin with it, and the momentum of the spin keeps going after she wants it to.
Yeah, and it is actually shown that her two biggest powers are the doctorate level intellect that everyone seems to fucking forget, and and her expert level gymnastics.
Well, the reason people forget about the intellect is in some comic book runs they kind of cheapen it because they heavily imply that she exchanged sexual favours in order to get her PhDs, which I personally don't see the need to having that to her character, and I feel like it cheapens it a bit.
Yeah, it definitely cheapens it because it makes it so much more of an interesting character that she's got all this intelligence and she's choosing to throw it away to become a ditzy, insane lady.
But it also takes away a bit from the Joker as well, because one of the deals with the Joker being so interesting is he managed to fuck up someone who is an expert in psychology.
Yeah. He was able to manipulate someone with an absolute, an unarguable qualification in how to spot people manipulating. Mm-hmm. And how to get around it and how to deal with it. And, it's a really interesting dynamic. It's fucked up as hell, but that's kind of the point.
I think you can appreciate the Joker and Harley, I'm going to say relationship, because it is a relationship, even though it is a fucked up one.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's an interesting one from a dynamic point of view, where it's it's very interesting how it shifts from doctor and patient to, it's not even romantic, because it's not a real romance, because it's just Joker knowing he can use that to manipulate Harley.
Yeah, he's using her as a key. All he wants is to use her as a key to get out of that particular cell at that particular time. And then, okay, bonus, he's got an extra hench. But this particular one won't go away. But then again, she's also good at making chunky salsa out of heads. So, useful for now.
Do you want to know a really interesting take on the Harley and Joker thing?
Go ahead.
The Telltale Batman series.
I've heard of this. So, what I've heard is that you essentially raise Joker as a normal person out in the wild as your Batman player character. You kind of raise him based on your choices into becoming one or the other interpretation of a goody or baddie Joker, but also that Harley is a baddie before the Joker, and she's what makes him evil, as it were.
Yeah, well, it's not quite as clear-cut as you made it sound out, because in the first game, Joker's barely in it, and his name is John Doe.
Okay.
And he's stuck in Arkham. You meet him for 2 seconds, because you also get thrown... spoilers for the Batman Telltale series. You get thrown in Arkham as Bruce Wayne, for reasons, and John Doe says, I'll help you escape, but you owe me one. So he does, you escape, and in the second game, John Doe gets out, and he introduces you to his band of villainous friends, which is Harley Quinn, Bane, and Mr. Freeze.
Okay.
And Yeah, Harley Quinn is already Harley Quinn, whereas the Joker is just Don Do. He's a bit fucked up, but he is in love with Harley, so he does whatever she wants. So it's literally flipped on its head.
Yeah, simp Joker.
There's even a point where Harley offers you a sip of the drink that she's drinking, and if you take a sip of it, Joker will snatch it out of your hand afterwards and then take a sip as well.
Oh, that's kind of cute.
It's that Japanese trait of, it's basically an indirect kiss. Oh.
Yeah. Man, the number of times I've seen that, even just this fucking season in anime, like, it's... Oh.
But yes, I think we've ranted and raved about the opposite comic book company long enough in this Marvel episode.
It's okay, we talked about Deadpool and Gwenpool and Punisher for a while, and just, sometimes you need to talk about Batman.
Oh, Batman's the best DC fucking thing. Fight me. I don't know, I quite like The Flash, and I know that's an unpopular opinion. I also like Deathstroke, but he's a villain, so...
I mean, normally, he's most interesting as a villain, but yeah.
Well, he's a mercenary. He'll work for anyone who gives him money, but the problem with a mercenary is 9 times out of 10 they're hired by villains.
Yeah, and heroes tend not to want to hire mercenaries that have been known to work for villains and fight heroes.
Man, Deathstroke's origins are more depressing than Deadpool's. Man, is it not weird that Deadpool is a Deathstroke ripoff and yet so not a Deathstroke ripoff?
I know, right? I know how, one's meant to be a ripoff of the other, and they've even got damn near the same name. In both incarnations, by the way.
Yeah, Slade Wilson and Wade Wilson.
Yeah, but then again, we could go on for this forever, but I think we were trying to wrap up.
Yeah, sorry, I got distracted. Deathstroke's cool. Look up Deathstroke, even though he fights teenagers. But yes, guys, if you've made it this far, thank you very much, because by the looks of the recording, we're nearly at 1 hour, 20 minutes. Oops. So if you made it this far, you are our favourite persons, or people, I should say, that's proper English, and hopefully you'll join us next week, where if you follow the Twitter, you'll actually get a sneak preview of what we're going to be doing, but that's all I'll say here. And yeah, goodbye, guys.
Yep, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.